John Lusky of Lusky Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. I've got another classic broadhead to test today with a new twist on it. It's the Muzzy Trocar Ti. And so there's some really cool features about it I'll go through in just a second, and then I'll put it to the test. And for all the testing, I'm going to be using my regimen for 2024. For a detailed description of all the tests I do, why I do them, how I do them, and so forth, how I quantify them, please watch the video that I posted earlier this year called 2024 Broadhead Test Process. And it'll walk you through all that, and it'll avoid me having to respond to a lot of different criticisms and questions. Okay. Though I'm happy to always answer questions. I try to answer every question that people ask me, and I get a lot of them. Okay, so for the testing, I'll be using that regimen, and I'll be using my Elite Era that I'm just loving, that compound bow for most of the shooting. But then for the accuracy testing, I'm using this Killer Instinct SWAT X1 crossbow because it eliminates so much human error. And then we're going to put this bad boy to the test. So let's zoom on in here, check it out, and then give it the test. Here's a good look at this head, and just a nice proven design. Has a lot of cool features here. Now let's start with the materials. You got a titanium ferrule, and titanium being lighter than most steel allow them to put the weight into some other things here. Even though this is just a 100-grain head, they can do some extra things because of that. Has a nice chisel tip. I really like these chisel tips. And then it's got, I believe, this kind of this retention collar here, if you will. It's got a threaded retention collar. That, I believe, is aluminum. I'm not sure on that, but I think that's aluminum. And then these blades are, of course, stainless steel, and they're a stout 0.040 inches thick. So relatively thick blades there. The cutting diameter is 1¼ inches, even in this 100-grain model. So the total cut is 1.875 inches. And then another cool thing about this head is the blades are offset, meaning they don't all just point to the center of the ferrule. They're a little offset. And what that does is it just creates a really nice rotation, both in flight as well as within a medium, within an animal, to make an even more wicked wound channel. And then another thing about those is you have a choice of whether you want them to rotate left or right. And you want to make sure, just like a single bevel head, though this is a double bevel head, but it works just like a single bevel, you want to make sure that they match your fletching. If you have a right helical or right offset fletching, you want to make sure that you put them in the right rotation position. So it's nice that you have that flexibility. So for resharpening, I would use a Stay Sharp Guide replaceable blade kit. That works really well with broadheads like this and these kind of blades. Really eager to put this head to the test and see how it performs. The Trocar got the 9 ring. It only took 132 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a bonus for going under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 8.5 inches. It took an additional 57 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is an 8.86 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 56 layers, which is an 8 on a 10-point scale. The head's in perfect shape after the 3 shots through the MDF. And here it is after just 1 shot through the steel plate. Normally I shoot it twice, but on the very first shot, all the blades came out. And if you look closely at the base of the ferrule, you can see where the blades have made a little divot back into that retention collar that I feared was a weak point, and indeed it was, because they backed up just enough to then fall out of the little locking mechanism at the top. So that's unfortunate. Now, it did make a nice hole. You see the hole here. You can see that rotation from the offset blades, but it just lacked the durability to stay together. It rotated 90 degrees at 12 inches. Really good rotation. Here it is after all the durability testing. You saw the blades all fell out in a steel plate because this retention collar is just, it's so soft. Not sure what that material is. I'm guessing aluminum, like I said, but the blades backed into it and cut into it, and then there was nothing to just hold them in place. But I went ahead and shot it into the cinder block like this, and you can see the ferrule held up well. So what'd you think? Man, there's a lot of great strengths of this broadhead. It performed well in a lot of different areas. The cut size, the blades, the ability to change the rotation of blades. I love that rotation of the offset blades. The ferrule and chisel tip, great. But man, I'm concerned about that retention system. Just when all the blades came out, that was a shocker to me. And so I don't know, maybe I got a bad batch or something like that, but that's just something to keep in mind and clear up and feel good about before you use them, okay? I know shooting them into steel plate, that's a pretty big shock, but still most fixed blade heads breeze through that like butter. So anyway, you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if it might be a good fit for you and your hunting needs. And stay tuned for the overall cumulative score, as well as the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I have to just pass on some savings to you. As I get to have a bigger influence in the market, more manufacturers are willing to give me discount codes that I can share with you. And I can't update them once a video is produced, but I can update the video description. So I try to keep updating those throughout the year. All the ones I've done in 2024, I keep updating and put them in alphabetical order because there's quite a growing list. Hopefully that can save you some bucks. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time.